Welcome to Installation and Migration Issues, the third lesson of SEP 14, Maintain and Troubleshoot. In this video, I'll walk you through how to troubleshoot and resolve installation issues with the Symantec Endpoint Protection Manager. Let's get started. The installation for the Symantec Endpoint Protection Manager has 3 stages. There are differences between installing the management server versus the clients, but the overall process is the same. For the SEPM, the installation does the following. The review prerequisite stage checks for a pending reboot for Windows. A good example of a pending reboot is a server that had a Microsoft patch installed during a particular change window. If the server requires a restart, the installation prompts the administrator to reboot the system. The setup also checks to make sure that the system meets minimum system requirements. If the server is running low on disk space, the installation prompts the user to free up space on the hard drive. It also confirms that the user has local admin rights on the system. After the installation checks prerequisites, the install phase begins. Depending on whether it's a new installation or an upgrade, the setup creates or updates program folders. It also adds configuration data for Tomcat or Apache and ensures the software is accessible by creating links in the Start menu or shortcuts on the desktop. The installation also installs or updates services such as the Symantec Endpoint Protection Manager service. During the configure phase, the Management Server Configuration Wizard prompts the administrator to either create or upgrade the database. It'll also configure an SSL port and database administrator credentials. At the end of the configure phase, the Management Server Configuration Wizard will prompt the administrator to run a live update to complete updating the database. Live Update downloads newer signatures built into the SEP 14 technology. The signatures are more lightweight and have a much smaller footprint on the file system. There are many reasons the SEPM installation can fail, but I've listed some common use cases. A pending reboot in Windows may require a restart of the server. You may be running low on disk space in which you need to review the system requirements. With permission-related issues, you need to ensure that you're logged in as local administrator or an account with local administrator privileges. If the installation fails to upgrade the database or create the SEPM database, verify you have database administrator credentials and review SQL or embedded services on the server. If the services are not running, it may cause issues with the installation. Or if you're running disaster recovery due to an outage, you may need to troubleshoot communication issues between the SEPM and clients. Typically, this is related to the SEPM requiring a recovery file or server certificate, so clients can communicate with the management server. For more information on these topics and more, see the KB listed on the screen. So let's apply the troubleshooting methodology to resolving a failed SEPM installation. During the Gather Evidence phase, you collect installation logs. The Symantec Endpoint Protection installation records events to the sepm_inst.log, install_log.out, and the install_log.error. You can also see entries in the Windows Event Viewer. Another approach to gathering evidence is to download SymDiag to detect installation issues. For more information on this topic, see the KB listed on the screen. The SEPM installation wizard writes events to the sepm_inst.log. If the installation fails, search for a return value 3 in the log. Document the line above the return value 3 as shown on the screen. The install_log.out records activity from the Symantec Endpoint Protection Manager services, such as when the services are started or stopped. It also logs interactions with the Management Server Configuration Wizard. Examples include when the Management Server Configuration Wizard establishes a connection to the Symantec Endpoint Protection Manager database, or when adding the management server to an existing SEP site. It also monitors SEPM upgrades, including changes to the database schema. So if you're troubleshooting issues with the Symantec Endpoint Protection Manager installation, reviewing the _log.out can sometimes provide a timeline of the events leading up to the installation failure. The install_log.error can be used to identify login and permission-related issues for the SEM5 user account. The Semantic Endpoint Protection Manager uses the SEM5 user account to write events to the database. If the management server configuration wizard experiences issues connecting to SQL or an embedded database, the install_log.error logs the activity. It also records errors during the upgrade, including problems when upgrading the database schema. If you're troubleshooting an install-related issue on the SEPM, you can compare the timestamps in the install_log.out and install_log.error to get a bigger picture of what may have caused the event to occur. In addition to writing to the install_log.error, you can find entries in the Windows Event Viewer. During the Gather Evidence phase, use the Windows Event Viewer to see other errors related to the items shown on the screen. Here's an example of what you can see in the Windows Event Viewer. The log entry shows an issue with the Windows installer. You can research the event ID in the Semantic Knowledge Base or review Windows services for more information. If you're running through the labs in this course, you resolve the issue in a later exercise. When gathering evidence with SimDiag, review the results to identify what caused the installation to fail. Here's an example report from SimDiag. SimDiag ran as a pre-installation check on a new management server. In the example, several error and warning entries are generated in the report. You can expand the entries for more details and select Click here for a solution to find out how to repair and validate. After gathering evidence, the researching phase begins. Use the keywords that you gathered to search the semantic knowledge base. The search results show potential solutions that you can use in the repair and validate phase. You can also search or post on Semantic Connect. After establishing a plan of action, it's time to repair and validate. During the repair phase, you apply a corrective action. A corrective action is reactive. It's designed to remove a cause or causes of an unacceptable situation. Depending on the type of issue, you may decide to apply a preventative action as well. A preventative action is proactive and designed to ensure the problem doesn't happen again in the future. Examples of a corrective action would be to create a service account with administrative rights for the Semantic Endpoint Protection Manager installation. You may decide to disable user access control during the installation. If the installation flagged the server with low disk space, the corrective action may be to free disk space on the file system. Or if the server has recently had patches installed, you may need to correct a pending reboot with a restart of Windows. When applying fixes, Microsoft recommends to use the following best practices. Use a change control process to document changes made to the management server. Change control minimizes downtime and ensures changes happen in a coordinated manner. Read all related documentation to ensure that you have an understanding of the change. Depending on the type of fix, it may be a good idea to test the fix in a non-production environment. An example of testing a fix is if your organization is preparing to migrate to a newer version of Semantic Endpoint Protection. To test the migration, you can restore a copy of your organization's SEPM database in a test environment. You can test every aspect of the deployment and communication without impacting your production environment. Also, it's a good idea to have a working backup of the server and schedule downtime. If you need to back out and revert the server to its original configuration, the downtime gives you the necessary time to do this. For more information on this topic, see the Microsoft article listed on the screen. In this lesson, you learned how to describe the SEPM installation process, and you also learned how to troubleshoot and resolve a failed SEPM installation. For more information about the topics discussed in this lesson, Refer to the resources listed on the slide, and remember to frequently check the Semantic Support website. Thank you for watching this video.